Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ian Zane and this is the first tutorial on Final Cut for GCTV. So this tutorial will cover just the most basic aspects of Final Cut, such as the windows, how it works, how to bring footage in from two different types of cameras, DV cameras which shoot on film and cameras that shoot on memory cards or hard drives with import. It will also cover how to clip parts of footage to only take the sections that you want, and it will cover how to input transitions to make footage go from one clip to another more smoothly. So let me first explain the layout of Final Cut. This is called your browser, this window up in the top left of the screen. Anything you bring into Final Cut, so any video you import or capture, any music or any photos that you use, will go into this window. This window will be where all your footage sits and where you can draw from it to use it. This down here is the timeline. This is basically the flow of your video. Anything you put in here, as you scrub through it or press the space bar to play, will be shown in the canvas. So let's say I put this is the playhead, by the way, this arrow that I'm moving around. Wherever the playhead is what's shown in the canvas. So if I put this at 4 seconds, whatever is happening in my timeline at 4 seconds will be shown on the canvas. So the canvas is basically a view station for whatever is in the timeline. The viewer is how we will edit individual clips before we bring them into the timeline. That's a little bit harder to explain, but it's easier to visualize as I bring footage in. So let's do that. Let's bring in some footage. To capture, which is how we bring footage off of a DV tape, we go down and we click Capture. We go to File, Capture. This can also be achieved by pressing Command 8. Holding Command and pressing 8 for a keyboard shortcut. So it'll initial the capture, and the first thing we have to make sure we do is we have to rewind our footage back to the beginning. So this will, as we can see here, it's rewinding, because if we start our capture from the middle, we won't get all of our footage. And although this doesn't say 0, it stopped rewinding, which means it's at the beginning. So to begin our capture and to begin our footage, to bring our footage in from tape, we just click Now and it begins. It will wait and it will find where the footage starts, and then it will begin to capture. So it will begin about now. Now this capturing is the bringing in the footage from tape onto our computer. It looks as though it's kind of choppy and low frame rate, but that's just because that's how capturing works on the computer. When we're actually showing it in video, it will be perfectly clear and very smooth. So the footage is about to end, and then once it ends, the footage has to find the break of the exact frame where the footage has ended. So what the camera does is it works backwards one frame at a time in order to find the final frame. This actually makes life a lot easier for us, even though it takes a little bit of time, because this backing up and finding the exact frame will allow us to do more precision editing and won't leave black spaces at the end of our film. So it's about to complete this, and it says locating timecode break at the bottom. Once it says searching for new media, that means that we're finished and that we will be able to press the escape key. So we're done. It says searching for new media, or searching for media, so we can press our escape because we've imported all our footage. If there is more footage later on your tape, you want to let it keep going so it imports all the footage. Okay, so as you can see right here, we've got our footage. 19 minutes and 21 seconds of footage. Or 19 seconds, 21 frames, not 19 minutes. That would have taken a very long time. So now we can close our capture window because we no longer need it. Now, importing from a camera that shoots on memory card or hard drive is a little bit more complicated because most cameras won't just work with a Final Cut setup. So what we'll do is we'll open up iMovie, which is the program that we use optimally for importing footage from hard drive and memory card. This will take a second because my computer's being slow, but we're good. So now what we want to do is we want to go to, let's close this because it's annoying, and we want to go to Open Camera Import Window, which is how we'll bring footage in from our camera. It will load the camera and look for the devices. We should see 3 cameras when we open this, when we click this drop down in the bottom. The built-in eyesight is the camera on your computer. That's me. Hello. And then the ZR950 is our DV camera, which is the camera that we took the footage of from film with, but we already imported that, so we're going to ignore it. Now the Apple internal memory card reader is what I'm going to be using because I took the card out of my camera that it shoots on and I plugged it directly into the computer to get the fastest speed. So if we have our setting on automatic, which is what it will be by default, it'll show these clips and it'll import all as our button. That will mean that we can just, if we click this button, it'll import both clips. But I don't think I want to do that. I think I only want to take this first one. So I have to switch to manual, which will allow me to check the boxes, and I only want to leave the first one checked. So it'll only import the first one. Once I've done that, I can click import checked, and it will ask me to name an event. So I'll name it back window because that's where I took this footage from. And I don't want to analyze for stabilization, so I just want to click import. And this bar here will import the footage. This should, if you're using a memory card reader that's directly part of your computer, it can normally do this in less time than the footage actually takes. Whereas if you're going through a cable or through a camera with a hard drive, this can take a bit longer. Now mine is about 3/4 of the way done. We're about 5 seconds till completion. So we will let that do its thing, and then once it's done, we can just click the done button and then we're good. It will process, and then we can just click the done key or the done button. Thank you. So we click done, or we X this window out. If it doesn't if it freezes, you X the window out, and then we can see that we've got all our footage here from the back window. It's my car. It's horrible. Okay, so let's close this. And now to actually get that footage into Final Cut, we have to go to File, Import, Files, which can also be achieved by pressing the keyboard shortcut Command-I. So we want to press that, and now we have to find where our footage was. So if we're in our home folder with our name on it, mine is Ian Zane, we go to Movies in our home folder, and then we go to iMovie Events. That's where our footage will be, and that's where the folders are that we named. So back window is the one that I just named, so I want to go in there and click on the clip. Now I want to click choose, and it will bring it in. So there's our clip. It's right here. We have it, and we can work with it. So now I'm going to explain how to do cropping of clips and how to choose which parts of clips you want in the viewer before you bring them into the timeline. So let's double click on this clip right here. I don't know, let's use the one in the front better. And then what we can do is we can press the play button. Let me turn down the volume of my computer because I can't hear anything because it's my air conditioner in my window. And so, alright, so let's get the construction. So this is where we want our footage to start. We press the I key, and watch right here as I press it. We press the I key, and it puts an in point, which basically means when I drag the footage into the timeline, I want it to start here. So now let's continue. And I think I only want the construction and maybe a little bit of my boat. So let's set the out point here. So we press the space bar to stop the footage, and we press the O key to set the out point. So now we look in this bar. This from this line to this line is all of our footage. But the part that we want is this area that's highlighted in white. If we want to bring only that area in, all we have to do is click in the middle of this window and drag it down into the timeline. And there is our footage. It'll sometimes ask best performance, external video. This doesn't matter. Just click yes. So now look, now we've got in our timeline our footage. And as we scrub through the timeline, we can see it in the canvas. So let's go back to that 4-second thing. When I go to 4 seconds, what's happening at the 4th second of this clip is what is being shown here. What's happening at the 5th second or the 6th second is being shown here. So basically it allows you to work with your footage frame by frame. So now let's bring in one from the other one. I'm just going to set 2 random in and out points just to make this a little bit quicker. So I've set my in and out points, and I'm just going to drag it down into the timeline. Now let's address this first. This green bar above the footage, that doesn't matter at the current time. But if that bar is red, it does matter, and we have to do something about it. If the bar is red, we won't be able to play our footage. It won't play in this window, in the canvas. So what we have to do is we have to go to Sequence, let's use Render All, and then click both. And that will render our video. We can just click OK here. That will render our video and allow us to work with it. It'll go pretty fast if you have short clips, but it can take hours if you have long clips. So now that green bar is gone. If it was red, it would be gone too, so we'd be good to go. So now we'd be able to work with our footage. Now, if we click play here, let me put it here so we don't have to wait very long. When we get to this blank area, it'll just be black screen, and we don't want that. So if we only have one layer of footage, we can either click this and then drag it so it's right up against there, and those little triangles show up, and we can let go, and that'll work, and it'll just go from one to the other. Or we can go back, and we can click right here and click close gap, and it'll automatically do that for us. So now that we've done that, we want to, let's see how our footage looks from the beginning to the end. So we have some construction workers, and we have a little bit of the beach, some of my boat, and then it cuts rapidly, and it's kind of just like, it's not a very nice cut. It looks kind of bad, kind of ugly. So to remedy this, what we want to do is we want to click in between the clips, right-click, and click Add Transition Cross Dissolve, or, for a better one, to do it faster, hold Command and press T, and it will put the cross dissolve in for us in the video. Now, if it doesn't make this odd triangle-shaped thing in the audio, we have to do it again specifically for the audio. So we want to right-click on our audio and click Add Transition Crossfade +3. So what that'll do is it'll add the transition. Now, as we can see, we've got that green bar again. We have to go to Render All and render it. You can also do that with Alt-R as a faster keyboard shortcut. So now let's see how our footage looks. I'll start us a little ahead this time, and as we go to our next footage, we get a nice fade. It doesn't look as ugly, it looks much more succinct, much nicer, much more, proper filmmaking. So that's how we do transitions. We can add those, we can change them if we'd like, we can make them the starts longer, percentages. We don't want to deal with that yet, though. That's complicated editing stuff, and it doesn't really matter. If we change any of that footage, we'll have to render again, so let's just do that very quickly. And that's that. So that's pretty much all we need to know for this first episode. The next episode will include stuff like titling and a different and better method of importing clips with the viewer. So thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.